The Judgment Hall floated in the darkness between stars, a crystal structure so massive it had its own gravitational field. Inside, Ambassador James River stood alone in a circle of light, while 3,000 alien beings watched from the shadows above. He could feel their eyes on him. Some had 6 eyes. Some had compound vision that saw in spectrums humans could not imagine. All of them were judging. This was the High Council of the Galactic Union. And James River was the first human to stand in their court in 300 years. The 3 beings who ruled the council sat on a platform that hung in the air above everything else. They were called the Triumvirate, and they were older than human civilization. The first one, Corvin, spoke in a voice that came from everywhere at once. The translation device in James's ear turned the alien sounds into words. Humanity petitioned for contact in 2087. We refused. You asked again in 2156. We refused again. 9 times you asked to join us. 9 times we said no. Corvin has 4 eyes fixed on James. Do you know why your species has been alone for 3 centuries, Ambassador River? James kept his hands behind his back and his face calm. He was 40 years old and had been chosen for this mission because he did not scare easily. But standing here, in front of beings who had mastered space travel while humans were still living in caves, he felt very small. I know what your files say about us, James answered. The chamber erupted in strange sounds, clicks, hisses, electronic buzzes. The aliens were shocked. No one interrupted the triumvirate. The second ruler, Butchar, leaned forward. His species were warriors, massive, and covered in armor like skin. Our files do not lie human, they warn. They protect. Then let me hear the warning, James said. Something must have changed if you allowed me to come here. The third ruler, Nelva, activated a hologram in the center of the chamber. The image showed Earth from space, then dove down to show battles. Ancient warriors with swords. Soldiers in trenches. Mushroom clouds rising over cities. Bodies in camps. Chemical weapons. War after war after war. When we first found your world, Nelva said in a soft voice that somehow carried through the vast space, we had just invented nuclear weapons. You pointed them at yourselves. You divided your only planet into enemies and prepared to destroy everything. More images appeared. Genocide, torture, weapons designed only to cause suffering. We found a species, Bokhtar continued, that had turned killing into an industry. You did not just fight, you perfected murder. You created horrors that even our most savage ancestors never imagined. James did not look away from the images. He had prepared for this. The council voted quickly, Corvin said. Should we contact you? Or should we watch you destroy yourselves? Most voted to leave you alone. To observe? If you ever developed faster than light travel, we would eliminate you before you could spread your violence to other worlds. But I am standing here, James said quietly, which means something changed. The silence that followed felt heavy. Finally, Corvin spoke again. The swarm has come. James had never heard that word before. He had studied every piece of information humanity had gathered about the galaxy, but this was new. Show him, Bokhtar ordered. The hologram changed. A section of space turned black. Not empty. Black like something was eating reality itself. The image zoomed closer, and James felt his stomach turn. There were ships. Millions of them. But they were not like any ship he had ever seen. They were alive, pulsing with light, each one the size of a moon. And they were consuming everything. Stars disappeared. Planets vanished. Entire civilizations were swallowed. They came from beyond our galaxy 6 months ago, Nelva explained. 17 civilizations are gone. 400 billion people consumed. Every fleet we sent was destroyed. Every weapon failed. They do not want territory, Corvin said. They want biomass. They are turning everything into themselves. Into more of them. James studied the images. His mind was already working. How long do you have? They will reach our core worlds in 18 months, Nelva said softly. They will consume the entire galaxy in 5 years. You are losing, James said. It was not a question. Yes, Bakhtar admitted, and the pain in his voice was clear. For warriors to admit defeat meant things were desperate. Corvin's eyes locked onto James. We have 30 million warships, armies with trillions of soldiers, weapons that can destroy planets, and we are losing badly. We need more soldiers, Bakhtar said. We have drafted every species that can fight. It is not enough. So we have come to the one species we swore never to contact unless there was no other choice. James felt his heart beat faster. You want Earth to send soldiers. 1 billion troops, Corvin said bluntly. Your planet has 11 billion people. We ask for less than 10%. We will provide ships, weapons, supplies. We will never ask Earth to pay tribute. We will make humanity full members of the Council. And if we refuse? James asked. Then in 5 years the swarm will reach Earth anyway, Nelva said. And no one will be left to help you fight.
Ow!
James was quiet for a long moment. I need to contact my government. You have 6 hours, Corvin declared. Ambassador River, you should know something. We have asked 17 other species for more troops. All of them refused. They have given everything they can. You are our last hope. As guards escorted James from the chamber, he heard Bakhtar's voice echo behind him, speaking to the assembled aliens. We have asked the galaxy for soldiers. Let us hope we do not regret waking the monsters we worked so hard to keep sleeping. 6 hours passed like minutes. James returned to the judgment circle. Every alien representative leaned forward. Everything depended on Earth's answer. Earth's government has reviewed your request, James began. His voice carried clearly through the chamber. We agree to provide the soldiers you need. Relief spread through the alien crowds. Some began celebrating. However, James continued, and everything went silent again. There are conditions. Corvin's crystalline body seemed to harden. You cannot negotiate human. James smiled. Something about that smile made even Bakhtar, who had fought 1,000 battles, feel uneasy. I think you will find that we can, James said quietly. Because Earth is not going to send you ordinary soldiers. We are going to send you something else. Something we have been preparing for 300 years, knowing that eventually you would need us. What are you talking about? Nelva demanded. James's smile grew wider. You locked us away because you feared what we were. You should have feared what we would become when we had 3 centuries to prepare for the day you had no choice but to call us. The holographic display suddenly activated, but not from the Council's controls. Humanity had hacked their systems. The image showed Earth, but not the Earth the Council remembered. This Earth had massive weapons platforms in orbit, ships with technology the Council's sensors could not identify, defenses that should not exist. 1 billion soldiers, James said, his voice now cold. But not the soldiers you expected. You asked for troops? We are sending you the thing the galaxy has whispered about in fear for 300 years. We are sending you the reason why even your warriors, Bakhtar, classify us as a catastrophic threat. What have you done? Corvin whispered. We had 3 centuries of peace, James replied. No wars among ourselves. Do you know what humanity does with peace? We prepare for war, and we have become very, very good at it. The image showed massive ships emerging from hidden bases on the Moon and Mars. You wanted soldiers? James's voice echoed through the stunned chamber. You are getting Earth's Reapers. May your gods have mercy on the swarm, because we will not. The staging station orbited Threshold, the military heart of the Galactic Union. General Bakhtar stood in the command center, watching transport ships arrive from various worlds. The past week had been chaos. Half the Council believed the humans were lying. The other half believed humanity was about to unleash something worse than the swarm itself. General, his assistant, a young officer named Plex, approached carefully. The human transports have arrived. They are requesting docking permission. Bakhtar's claws tapped against the console. How many ships? 1,000, sir. Each one carries 1 million soldiers. Bakhtar noticed the pause. You did not say soldiers. No, sir. I said soldiers because I do not know what else to call them. The display updated, showing the human fleet entering the system. Bouchard felt every combat instinct he had developed over 2 centuries scream danger. The ships moved wrong. Too precise. Too synchronized. 1,000 vessels moving as if they shared one brain, and their hulls glowed with materials that should not exist. Armor that seemed to drink in energy. Designs that looked like they had studied every battle the Council ever fought. "They have been watching us," Bouchard said aloud. "For 300 years, they watched and learned everything." "Sir, the lead ship is calling us. Ambassador River wants to come aboard." "Let him come," Bouchard ordered. "Gather all senior officers. I want every species represented." 20 minutes later, James River walked into the command center. 2 figures in black armor followed him. The armor seemed to absorb light itself. The helmet designs looked like human skulls, made of chrome and shadow. Every predator species in the room felt their prey instincts activate. General Bouchard James nodded respectfully. "Thank you for allowing us to dock." "What are they?" Corvin demanded. Ed threw a hologram. His crystalline body vibrated with anxiety. "Your troops will not leave their ships. They will not talk to us. Our sensors can barely detect them. That is because they are designed not to be detected," James replied calmly. "General, you know, Earth's history. The Council made sure of that during my judgment." "Yes," Bouchard growled. "War, murder, violence, all true," James agreed without shame. "But you missed something important. Yes, we fought each other for thousands of years. Yes, we made terrible weapons. But do you know what the only species in the galaxy is that successfully fought itself to near extinction and survived?" The command center went quiet, as James continued. "Humans are the only species that drove other versions of themselves to complete extinction. We eliminated competing human subspecies using only stone tools and primitive weapons." One of the armored figures shifted slightly, and every warrior in the room felt their blood go cold. "When you locked us away," James said, "we knew eventually you would need us. So we prepared. We took every lesson from every war we ever fought. Every tactic, every weapon, every strategy, and we improved them." He gestured to the armored figures. "Meet the Reapers. Generation 1. Generation." Nelva's hologram appeared beside Corvin's S. "What does that mean?" "We have 300 generations," James explained, "each one more specialized than the last. These are Gen 1, the baseline. They are stronger, faster, and tougher than normal humans. They have been trained since age 10 in every form of combat humanity knows. They feel pain but ignore it. They do not feel fear. They are absolutely loyal. You modified them." Corvin's voice cracked. "Genetically?" "Among other things," James confirmed. "Cybernetic upgrades, neural enhancements, accelerated healing. Each Reaper is worth 100 normal soldiers in combat." Bouchard's mind raced. "You said Generation 1? What are the others?" James's expression darkened. "That is where it gets interesting, General. You see, humanity's greatest strength is not our bodies or our weapons. It is our minds. Our ability to adapt, to think of solutions other species find uncomfortable." He activated a display showing different Reaper types. "They can disguise themselves as any species in the galaxy perfectly. One could be standing next to you right now." Several officers stepped away from each other nervously. Gen 100 are psychological operations specialists. They do not just fight enemies. They break them mentally first. They make armies destroy themselves. Gen 150 can adapt to any environment. Vacuum, underwater, toxic atmospheres, high-gravity worlds. Anywhere the swarm goes, we can follow. The display continued, showing generation after generation, each more terrifying than the last. Gen 100 are pack hunters. Small teams that can take down targets 1,000 times their size using tactics that work. Gen 250 are cyber warfare experts. They can hack any computer system, any network. If the swarm has any coordination system, these units will find it and destroy it. Bouchard held up a claw. "Stop. How many generations have you deployed?" "All 300, James said quietly. 1 billion Reapers across 300 generations. Each generation has about 3.3 million units. Each one trained for a specific purpose. Each one ready to do what humans do best, which is, Corvin whispered. Win, James replied. No matter the cost, no matter the method, no matter how ugly it gets. You wanted soldiers? You are getting the most effective killing force humanity could design. And we had 3 centuries to perfect them. The command center was silent. Finally, Bouchard spoke. Ambassador River, you call them Reapers? Why? James met his gaze. Because that is what they do, General. They harvest. They collect. The swarm thinks they are the apex predators in this galaxy. They are about to learn that Earth evolved something far more dangerous. What? Nelva asked, though her tone suggested she did not want the answer. A predator that hunts other predators, James said. The swarm eats civilizations? Fine. The Reapers eat predators like them. It is what we have always done. One of the armored figures removed its helmet. The face was human. Young, maybe 20, but the eyes were wrong. Too focused. Too cold. This was someone designed and trained for one purpose only. Captain Diana Stone, the Reaper said, her voice flat. Gen. E. Alpha Company. General Bouchard, my forces are ready. We have studied your battle reports. We have identified 17 critical errors in your tactics. Duh, bristled. Errors? I have been fighting wars since before your species had spaceflight. Yes, sir, Diana agreed without emotion. And you have been losing to the swarm using normal military tactics. Normal warfare will not work here. You need unconventional solutions, such as... Bakhtar challenged. Diana smiled. It was the most predatory expression any of them had ever seen, such as fighting like humans, sir, dirty, brutal, with no concept of fair play. The swarm fights like animals? Good. Humans have been fighting animals for 400,000 years. We are very good at it. She activated her own display, showing tactical plans that made even Bakhtar pause. We will hit them where they do not expect. We will use weapons they have never seen. And we will do things that will make you uncomfortable to watch. But at the end, General, you will have your victory. At what cost? Corvin demanded. James answered. At whatever cost is necessary. You asked us to save the galaxy. We are going to do exactly that, whether the galaxy likes our methods or not. Later that night, Bakhtar stood alone watching the human ships. Behind him, Corvin materialized in person, something the ancient being rarely did. We made a terrible mistake, Corvin said quietly. The swarm? Bouchard asked. No, the humans. We asked them to save us. But I wonder if we just traded one threat for another. An alarm suddenly blared. Plex rushed in, his face pale.
Our generals?
The swarm bypassed our defenses. They are attacking Sanctuary Station. 3 billion civilians. Our nearest fleet is 6 hours away. Sanctuary Station was doomed. Permission to deploy early? Diana Stone's voice came through the cum. She did not sound excited or afraid, just eager. James appeared in the hologram beside her. General, this is what we are here for. Let us go. Bouchard looked at Corvin, who nodded. Do it, Bouchard commanded. But if your Reapers fail, we will not, James interrupted. Failure is not something we designed them to do. Watch, General. The galaxy is about to see what 300 years of human preparation looks like. Sanctuary Station hung in space like a dying star. 3 billion people huddled inside while 17 swarm bioships surrounded it. Their massive organic mouths were already opening to feed on the station's command deck. Administrator Tekvar watched the tactical display with empty horror. His children were somewhere in the residential sectors. He would never see them again. All personnel, he broadcast, trying to keep his voice steady. It has been an honor. Tell your families you love them. We have 4 minutes before shield failure. The channel filled with cries, prayers, and final messages. Tekvar closed his eyes. Then something impossible happened. Space between the swarm and the station rippled. 1,000 human ships appeared from nowhere. Not from normal, faster-than-light travel, but instant jumps that should not exist. The human ships did not warn or negotiate. They just opened fire, but these were not normal weapons. The first shots were not explosives or energy beams. It was something that made the sensor operator scream. "Sir, they are firing matter streams." "No, not matter. It is breaking down the swarm at the molecular level." The nearest bioship, the size of a small planet, began to dissolve. Not burn, not explode. Just come apart, its organic matter streaming into space like it was being unwoven. Nanite weapons, Tekvar realized. Weaponized nanotechnology. But the swarm adapted. The remaining 16 ships deployed countermeasures, electromagnetic pulses that killed the nanite swarms. They returned fire, spewing organic projectiles that could pierce any known armor. The human ships did not dodge. The projectiles hit, and the human armor absorbed them. Actually absorbed them, converting the biological material into energy that fed back into the ship's power systems. "They are not just fighting," Tekvar whispered. "They are feeding on them." Human voice crackled over the cum. "Sanctuary Station. This is Captain Diana Stone, Earth Reaper Force. Hold position. We have this." "Captain Stone," Tekvar transmitted, "there are 17 swarm bioships. Each one is classified as extinctional level. Your fleet will be—" He stopped. The human ships were doing something that made no sense. They split up, 1,000 ships divided into 17 groups, and each group charged directly at a bioship in what looked like a suicide run, except it was not suicide. The lead ships in each group fired penetration charges, weapons designed to drill through the organic holes. Then, before the holes could seal, smaller craft shot through and disappeared inside the bioships. "They are boarding them," Tekvar realized. "They are boarding swarm vessels." No species had ever tried that. The interior of a bioship was a nightmare of acid, crushing pressure, and biological defenses that could kill most life in seconds. It was considered impossible, but humans had not received that information. The external cameras caught glimpses inside through the entry wounds. Reapers in black armor, moving through organic corridors like ghosts. They did not just fight, they hunted. Working in teams, they targeted specific organs, specific biological systems. "They know the swarm's bio." Logie, the science officer, reported, voice shaking. "Sir, they know it better than we do. They are hitting neural clusters, circulatory nexuses, respiratory nodes. They are killing these things from the inside." One bioship thrashed violently, then went still. Then another. Then a third. "How long has it been?" Tekvar asked numbly. 7 minutes since the humans arrived, sir." 7 minutes. Normal engagement with a single swarm bioship lasted for hours and resulted in massive losses. The humans had disabled 3 in 7 minutes. But then things changed. The remaining 14 bioships recognized the threat and began coordinating. They had never done that before. The swarm typically fought as individuals, but now they worked together, focusing fire on human ships. Systematically, it was working. Human vessels began taking damage. 3 ships exploded, then 5 more. The Reapers were dying. "They're going to lose," Tekvar whispered. "No," his tactical officer breathed. "Look at the pattern. The humans are deliberately sacrificing ships. They are using themselves as bait." It was true. The damaged human ships, instead of retreating, moved into formation around the largest bioship, the apparent queen. And as the swarm focused on them, other human ships slipped past and fired something new. Missiles that did not explode on impact. They burrowed into the bioship's flesh and detonated internally. Not with explosives, but with something worse. Biological warfare, Tekvar realized with horror. They created a bioweapon specifically designed to kill the swarm. The bioships began dying in agony, their own biology turning against them. The weapons were engineered viruses that hijacked the swarm's cells, forcing them to digest themselves. within 15 minutes of battle start. All 17 bioships were dead or dying. The human fleet regrouped around Sanctuary Station. Of the original 1,000 ships, only 600 remained functional. The Reapers had taken 40% casualties, yet when Captain Stone's voice came through again, she sounded completely calm. Sanctuary Station, you are secure. No additional swarm signatures detected? Do you require medical assistance? Tekvar could not speak. His hand shook. Finally, he managed words. Captain, how? How did you do that? There was a pause. We have been studying them, Administrator. For 6 months, we analyzed every battle report, every encounter, every scan the Council had. We ran millions of combat simulations, testing every weapon and tactic. This was not our first time fighting them, just our first time doing it in person. But the casualties are acceptable, Diana finished coldly. Each Reaper knows the mission parameters. 40% losses for complete success is within acceptable range. We saved 3 billion civilians. That is a favorable exchange. Tekvar felt sick. The way she talked about casualties, about lives, with such cold calculation, it was inhuman, which was precisely the point. Captain Stone, he said carefully, on behalf of Sanctuary Station and the Council, thank you. You saved us all. Just doing our job, Administrator. But we are not done. This was one battle. The war is beginning. Human ships moved out. Leaving a small group to help with repairs, Tekvar immediately opened a priority. Channel 2 General Bokhtar and Corvin. You need to see this. He transmitted, uploading the battle footage. The humans did not just win. They massacred the swarm. And the way they fought, I know, Bokhtar interrupted. We have been monitoring. 6 more Reaper task forces engaged swarm groups across the front lines. 6 more complete victories. The humans destroyed over 100 bioships in 3 hours, with minimal losses. Minimal? Tekvar sputtered. They lost 40% at my station. Yes, Corvin joined in. And every other species considers anything over 5% catastrophic. The humans fight like each unit is expendable. Like they are not people, but resources to be spent. Tekvar understood. They turn themselves into weapons. Not carrying weapons. They are weapons. Every Reaper is designed to be traded for enemy casualties at a favorable ratio. Correct, Bokhtar confirmed. And it is working. The swarm is dying. In 3 hours, humanity inflicted more damage than we managed in 6 months. At this rate, Corvin finished, the humans will win the war. And then we will have to deal with the fact that we unleashed a species even more terrifying than the threat we called them to fight. Aboard the human command ship, Diana Stone met with her battalion commanders, all Reapers from different generations. They stood around a holographic display showing the galaxy with red markers for swarm positions and blue markers for human forces. Current casualty rate is 37% across all engagements, reported a Gen 50 infiltrator. Projected total losses to achieve complete swarm elimination is 62%. 620 million Reapers dead to save the galaxy, a Gen 100 commander mused. Acceptable, Diana nodded.
Agreed.
But we need to discuss Phase 2. The other Reapers looked interested. Phase 2, a Gen 200 asked. Diana's expression was unreadable. The Council thinks we are here just to fight the swarm? They are wrong. Command has been clear about long-term mission parameters. She expanded the display. Suddenly it showed the Council's military infrastructure. Fleet positions. Defense stations. Political centers? Once the swarm is eliminated, Diana continued, we move to Phase 2, establishing humanity's permanent position in galactic hierarchy. The Council locked us away for 3 centuries. They feared what we were. They should have feared what we became. Occupation. The Gen 150 specialist asked. The inevitable, Diana replied. The galaxy called us because they were desperate. Once desperation is gone, they will remember why they feared us. They will try to lock us away again. Or worse, so we strike first, the Gen 250 officer concluded. We secure Earth's future, Diana corrected. By any means necessary? The same way we always did. And if the galaxy does not like it, she smiled, and every Reaper smiled with her. Then they will learn the same lesson the swarm is learning, Diana finished. That humanity does not just survive. We dominate. And we are just getting started. 3 months had passed since the Council gave Earth access to everything. 3 months of victories. The swarm was retreating, their forces destroyed across every front. The Reaper legions were unstoppable, using tactics that left military historians confused. But something was wrong. General Bouchard felt it in his combat instincts. The same sense that had kept him alive through 2 centuries of war. The humans were winning too easily. He stood in the command center of the flagship, watching real-time feeds of another Reaper victory. A Gen 200 unit had cornered and destroyed a Swarm Queen ship, one of only 7 remaining in the galaxy. It should have been brutal and costly. Instead, the humans killed it in under an hour with minimal losses. Something is wrong, he said aloud. Beside him, Corvin's hologram flickered. What do you mean? The humans are winning. Is that not what we wanted? They are winning too well, Buktar said. The swarm adapted to every council tactic within days. They should be adapting to humans by now, but they are not. It is like they are getting weaker, or the humans are getting better, Corvin suggested. No, Boktar pulled up data. Look, 3 months ago, Reaper casualty rate was 37% per engagement. Last month, 22%. Last week, 8%. This week, 3%. That is not learning. That is the enemy giving up. Corvin studied the data. What are you suggesting? I am suggesting we have been looking at this war wrong, Boktar said. Pull up the galactic map. Show me all swarm movements over 6 months. The display expanded. Red markers showed swarm positions and movements. At first, it looked random, pattern of an enemy striking at weakness. But when Boktar highlighted only movements from the past 3 months, after humans arrived, a different pattern emerged. By the ancestors. Corvin breathed. They are being herded. It was true. The swarm's retreat was not chaotic. It followed a specific path. And that path led them all to one sector, the Black Mire Expanse. A region of dense nebulae where sensors barely functioned and communications were nearly impossible. The humans are not just fighting them, Boktar realized. They are driving them somewhere. But why? An alarm blared. The sensor operator called out. General, massive energy buildup in the Black Mire Expanse. The signature is 30% swarm biomass, 30% human technology, and 40% something unknown. Show me, Boktar commanded. The display zoomed into the expanse. Through the interference, they could see shapes. Massive structures that dwarfed even the largest bioships. And around them, human vessels. Thousands of them. Not fighting, working. What are they doing? Corvin demanded. Boktar's tactical mind assembled the pieces. Call Ambassador River. Now, sir. Ambassador River is in the Black Mire Expanse with the Reaper fleet. Communications are jammed. By what? Unknown. But sir, the jamming signature is human. Boktar made a decision. Prepare my ship. We go to the Expanse. Assemble 3 frigates. Nothing aggressive, but enough to defend if necessary. General, going into the Expanse without proper sensors is suicide. Do it, Boktar ordered. I need to see what the humans are really doing now. 6 hours later, Boktar's small fleet emerged at the edge of the Black Mire Expanse. What they found made his blood cold. The humans had built something. A structure so vast it could only be seen in pieces. And it was made partially from swarm biomass, but transformed, engineered con. Trolled General, his sensor operator reported, voice shaking. That structure is a weapon the size of a solar system, and it is almost complete. Before Boktar could respond, James Rivers' face appeared on the screen. The ambassador looked tired, but there was something else now. Purpose, resolution, perhaps regret. General Boktar, James said. I hoped we would have a few more days before you figured it out. But you are a good soldier, better than we expected. What have you done? Bokhtar demanded. James sighed. I did what Earth sent me to do. We saved the galaxy. We stopped the swarm. We became your heroes. He paused. And in the process, we built the means to ensure the galaxy never threatens us again. Captain Diana Stone stepped into frame. General Bokhtar. What you see is Project Harvest, a weapon system capable of eliminating any technological civilization in the galaxy. We built it using swarm technology because they already figured out how to consume biomass efficiently. We just refined it, made it controllable. Bokhtar felt fury rising. You used this war as cover to build a super weapon? We used this war to secure Earth's future, Diana corrected coldly. The Council locked us away for 3 centuries. You would have done it again once the swarm was gone. This way you cannot. Now, Earth has means to destroy any species that threatens us. This is insane. Corvin's hologram appeared. You will start a war. The entire galaxy will unite against you. They can try, Diana replied. We have 7 billion more Reapers on Earth. We have technology you have not seen. We have Project Harvest. If we wanted conquest, we could do it in 6 months. But we do not want that, James interrupted firmly, shooting Diana a warning look. Earth does not want conquest. We want security. We want respect. We want to never be locked away again. Tar. General. I told you I was trying to prevent hardliners from taking over. I failed. While we fought the swarm, Earth Command sent new orders. Project Harvest became priority, and now it is complete. Bokhtar's mind raced through possibilities. So this is how it ends? You save us only to threaten us with something worse? No, James said firmly. This is how we ensure it never comes to that. General, look around. Look what humanity accomplished in 3 months. We did not just defeat the swarm. We mastered their technology. We integrated it with ours. We built something no single species could create. He leaned forward. Imagine what humanity could do as part of the Council instead of threatening it. Imagine the technology we could share, the problems we could solve. But we need guarantees. We need to know the galaxy will never try to eliminate us again. So you hold us hostage, Corvin stated flatly. We offer partnership, James countered. One where Earth is treated as equal, where our people can travel freely, where we are not feared but respected. And in exchange, Project Harvest remains dormant, a deterrent, never used, but always present. Bokhtar looked at the massive weapon displayed on his screens. 3 centuries. 3 centuries the Council spent keeping humanity isolated, afraid of what they might become. And in their fear, they created exactly what they tried to prevent. If the Council refuses, Bokhtar asked quietly. Diana answered before James could. Then we demonstrate Project Harvest on a small, uninhabited system, and we ask again. We keep asking until the Council understands that treating Earth like a disease is over. The command center fell silent. Finally, Bokhtar spoke. I need to contact the full Council. Of course, James agreed, but General, I genuinely am sorry. I believed we could do this differently. But Earth's leadership decided after 3 centuries of isolation, after being treated like monsters, it was time to ensure we would never be victims again. Right or wrong, that is where we are now. The transmission ended. Corvin's hologram turned to Bokhtar. What do we do? Bokhtar looked at his displays. At Reaper fleets positioned throughout the galaxy, at the weapon system that could end civilizations. At 7 billion more soldiers waiting on Earth. Call an emergency council session, he said quietly. We face the truth we have been avoiding. Humanity did not save us. They conquered us. We just did not notice until too late. 12 hours later, the Galactic Council convened. Every representative was present physically. This decision was too important for holograms. Corvin stood before them. We face an impossible choice. 3 months ago, we invited humanity to save us from the swarm. They succeeded. But in doing so, they positioned themselves to dominate the galaxy. He showed Project Harvest. This weapon can eliminate any civilization. It is fully operational. The humans demonstrated it by destroying remaining swarm forces in minutes. Minutes. What took us 6 months of desperate fighting. They ended with one weapon. A beetle-like representative spoke, mandibles clicking angrily. Then we have no choice. We must attack Earth now. Before we can what? James Rivers' voice interrupted as he walked into the chamber without invitation, flanked by 2 Reapers. Before we do what you are suggesting, launch a first strike. The chamber erupted in outrage. How dare you? This is closed. Nothing is closed to us, James replied calmly. We've access to everything. You granted it. We've been listening. We know what you are debating. He walked to center. So let me save time. Yes, we built a super weapon. Yes, we could dominate the galaxy. But here's what you are not understanding. You do not want to. James Rivers stood in the center of the council chamber, surrounded by 3,000 angry alien representatives. 2 Reapers flanked him, their black armor gleaming under the crystal lights. Every species present wanted him gone, wanted Earth gone, wanted the threat removed. But they all knew they could not do it. Then why build it? Buttar demanded, stepping forward. If you do not want to dominate us, why build a weapon that can destroy civilizations? James met his gaze. Because for 300 years, the galaxy told us we were monsters. You locked us away like a disease. You watched us, judged us, and decided we were too dangerous to join you. And you know what? You were right. We are dangerous. You're capable of terrible things. He gestured to the Reapers. We proved it by creating these. 1 billion soldiers designed for one purpose, to kill more efficiently than any species in the galaxy. We turned ourselves into living weapons because that is what you forced us to become. You wanted monsters? We became the best monsters we could be. His voice softened. But here's what you missed. We are also capable of incredible things. We saved your civilians. We fought your war. We died by hundreds of millions to protect species that never showed us anything but fear. And we won. He looked around the chamber. So now you have a choice. You can see us as the threat you always feared and tried to eliminate us, triggering a war that destroys both Earth and the Council. Or you can see us as what we want to be. Partners. Partners who hold a gun to our head, Nelva pointed out. Partners who hold a gun to everyone's head, including our own, James countered. That weapon works both ways. If any species, including humanity, becomes a threat to galactic peace, it can be used to stop them. We are not asking for dominance. We are asking for mutually assured survival. He pulled up a holographic document. Earth's proposal. We join the Galactic Council as full members. Project Harvest becomes jointly controlled, requiring authorization from both Earth and the Council to activate. In exchange, Earth shares all technology we developed. Our infiltration detection systems, our weapons, our tactics, everything. And if we refuse, Corvin asked, then we go home, James said simply. We take our Reapers, our technology, and our weapon, and we return to our solar system. And we wait, because eventually some other threat will come, another crisis like the Swarm. And when it does, you will call us again, and the price next time will be higher. The chamber fell silent. General Butchar spoke. I have fought alongside the Reapers for 3 months. I watched them die by millions to save our people. I saw them do things no other species would do, suffer casualties no other species would accept, all to protect civilizations that feared them. He looked at James. Earth is dangerous. Earth is frightening. But Earth is also the only reason any of us are alive. The Swarm would have consumed us all. And whatever comes next, whatever threat emerges, we will need Earth again. He turned to the Council. I vote for partnership. Not because I trust humanity completely, but because I trust that humanity wants to survive as much as we do. And in a galaxy full of threats, having the most dangerous species as your ally is better than having them as your enemy. Other representatives began speaking, debating, arguing. The discussion went on for hours. Some species demanded guarantees. Others wanted restrictions on human technology. A few called for immediate war, despite knowing they would lose. James waited patiently through it all. He had known this would not be easy. Earth had spent 3 centuries preparing for this moment, and he would not rush it now. Finally, Corvin called for a vote. All representatives, we vote now on Earth's proposal. Full membership in the Galactic Council. Joint control of Project Harvest. Technology Sharing Agreement. Those in favor. The voting display lit up. Blue lights for yes, red lights for no. The chamber watched as the count climbed. James felt his heart pounding. Everything depended on this moment. The final count appeared. 2,847 in favor, 153 against. Earth had won. The chamber erupted in noise, some species celebrating, others protesting. But the decision was made. Humanity would join the Galactic Council as full members. Corvin's voice cut through the chaos. The vote is decided. Earth is now a member of the Galactic Council with all rights and responsibilities that entails. Project Harvest will be placed under joint control with oversight committees from both Earth and Council representatives. He looked directly at James. Ambassador River, the Council welcomes humanity. We hope this partnership will be beneficial for all species involved. James bowed respectfully. Thank you, Adjudicator. Earth looks forward to working with the Council to build a safer, stronger galaxy for everyone. But as he left the chamber, James knew the real work was just beginning. Trust would not come easily. There would be challenges, conflicts, suspicions. Earth had forced its way into galactic society, and many species would resent that for generations. Captain Diana Stone was waiting in the corridor outside. Her expression was unreadable. Command. Wants to know if Phase 3 is still active? She said. Quietly, Phase 3. The complete military occupation plan that Earth's hardliners had prepared in case the Council rejected the proposal. Phase 3 is cancelled, James said firmly. We got what we came for. Full membership, security, respect, everything else we can achieve through cooperation rather than conquest. Diana's jaw tightened. Some people back home will not be happy about that. Some people back home wanted to conquer the galaxy, James replied. I am not interested in conquest. I am interested in survival. And the best way for humanity to survive is as part of the galactic community, not ruling over it. He looked at her carefully. Diana, you and your Reapers did exactly what you were designed to do. You fought brilliantly. You saved billions of lives. You won the war. But now the war is over, and we need a different approach. Diana was quiet for a moment. What happens to us? To the Reapers? We were designed for war. What do we do in peacetime? James had been thinking about that question for weeks. We adapt, just like humanity always does. Some Reapers will become security forces. Others will help with exploration and colonization. Some will train Council military forces in human tactics, and some will return to Earth and learn to be regular people. Can we do that? Diana asked. Can we stop being weapons? I do not know, James admitted honestly. But we have to try. Because if the Reapers cannot learn to exist in peacetime, then Earth will always be seen as a threat, and everything we just accomplished will be for nothing. Diana nodded slowly. I will pass that on to the others. Some will struggle with it. Some will refuse. But most will try. That is all I ask, James said. 6 months later, James stood on the observation deck of the New Earth Embassy on the Council's capital world. Beside him, General Bukhtar looked out at the same view. The city below teemed with life. Aliens from 1,000 worlds going about their daily lives. And among them now, humans. Earth citizens, exploring the galaxy they had been denied for so long. Do you think they will ever truly trust us? James asked. No, Bukhtar replied honestly. But trust is not necessary for partnership. Respect is, and whether they like it or not, humanity earned that. By threatening them. By saving them first, Bukhtar corrected. The threat only came after. And honestly, I think it needed to come. The Council had grown comfortable. We convinced ourselves we were the peak of civilization. Humanity showed us we were wrong. Below them, human children played in a park with alien children. Scientists from Earth worked alongside Council researchers. Human ships departed for exploration missions in sectors previously forbidden. It is not the peace anyone imagined, Bukhtar said. It is built on mutual deterrence and careful balance. but it is peace. For now, James replied. But there will be other threats. Other challenges? The swarm was not the first existential danger the galaxy faced, and it will not be the last. True. Bhutar agreed. But next time, humanity will face it alongside us, as equals, as partners. And that makes all the difference. James smiled slightly. The galaxy asked for soldiers. We sent reapers. And in doing so, we forced the galaxy to accept us not as monsters to be feared, but as people to be respected. A dangerous gamble, Bhutar observed. The only gamble we had, James corrected. We could have stayed locked away, waiting for the galaxy to need us again. Or we could force our way in and make them accept us. Right or wrong, we chose action over patience. Bhutar's claws tapped thoughtfully against the railing. You know, there's an old saying among my people, the most dangerous predator is not the one with the sharpest claws. It is the one smart enough to make you think it is on your side. James looked at him. Are you saying humanity manipulated the council? I am saying humanity understood the situation better than anyone else, Bhutar replied. You knew the council would call you eventually. You prepared for that moment. And when it came, you had already won before the first battle was fought. He turned to face James directly. The real question is what humanity does now. Will you be the partner you claim to want to be? Or will you slowly tighten your grip until the council has no choice but to follow Earth's lead? James was quiet for a long moment. I cannot speak for what Earth will do in 50 years, or 100, but I can speak for now. Right now, Earth wants to be part of something bigger than itself. We spent 3 centuries alone, and it made us strong but also lonely. We want to belong, even if belonging means compromise. Bhutar asked, especially then. James replied, the hardest thing for humanity to learn has always been how to share power, how to work with others as equals rather than competitors. If we can learn that, then this partnership will work. If we cannot, ... double quotes, he trailed off looking at the city below. Then the galaxy will learn the hard way that the monsters they feared were never the swarm, Bhutar finished quietly. It was always humanity. And the only thing keeping those monsters in check is humanity's own choice to be something better. James nodded. Which is why I will spend every day of my life making sure we make that choice. Over and over again. Because the moment we stop choosing to be better is the moment we become exactly what the galaxy feared we were. They stood together in silence, watching the sun set over an alien city that was now partly home to humanity. The Reapers had won the war. But the real battle, the battle to prove humanity could be trusted with the power it had claimed, was only just beginning. And somewhere in the depths of space, Project Harvest waited in silence. A reminder of what humanity was capable of. A deterrent against those who would threaten. Earth, and a test of whether humanity, good, could possess ultimate power without using it. Only time would tell if the galaxy's newest members would pass that test. But for now at least, there was peace. And sometimes, that was enough. Earth had won. The chamber erupted in noise. Some species celebrating, others protesting. But the decision was made. Humanity would join the Galactic Council as full members. Corvinet's voice cut through the chaos. The vote is decided. Earth is now a member of the Galactic Council with all rights and responsibilities that entails. Project Harvest will be placed under joint control with oversight committees from both Earth and Council representatives. He looked directly at James. Ambassador River, the Council welcomes humanity. We hope this partnership will be beneficial for all species involved. James bowed respectfully. Thank you, Adjudicator. Earth looks forward to working with the Council to build a safer, stronger galaxy for everyone. But as he left the chamber, James knew the real work was just beginning. Trust would not come easily. There would be challenges, conflicts, suspicions. Earth had forced its way into galactic society. Many species would resent that for generations. Captain Diana Stone was waiting in the corridor outside. Her expression was unreadable. Command. Wants to know if Phase 3 is still active, she said. Quietly, Phase 3. the complete military occupation plan that Earth's hardliners had prepared in case the Council rejected the proposal. Phase 3 is canceled, James said firmly. We got what we came for. Full membership, security, respect, everything else we can achieve through cooperation rather than conquest. Diana's jaw tightened. Some people back home will not be happy about that. Some people back home wanted to conquer the galaxy, James replied. I am not interested in conquest. I am interested in survival. And the best way for humanity to survive is as part of the galactic community, not ruling over it. He looked at her carefully. Diana, you and your Reapers did exactly what you were designed to do. You fought brilliantly. You saved billions of lives. You won the war. But now the war is over, and we need a different approach. Diana was quiet for a moment. What happens to us? To the Reapers. We were designed for war. What do we do in peacetime? James had been thinking about that question for weeks. We adapt, just like humanity always does. Some Reapers will become security forces. Others will help with exploration and colonization. Some will train Council military forces in human tactics, and some will return to Earth and learn to be regular people. Can we do that? Diana asked. Can we stop being weapons? I do not know, James admitted honestly, but we have to try. Because if the Reapers cannot learn to exist in peacetime, then Earth will always be seen as a threat, and everything we just accomplished will be for nothing. Diana nodded slowly. I will pass that on to the others. Some will struggle with it. Some will refuse, but most will try. That is all I ask, James said. 6 months later, James stood on the observation deck of the New Earth Embassy on the Council's capital world. Beside him, General Buttar looked out at the same view. The city below teemed with life. Aliens from 1,000 worlds going about their daily lives. And among them now, humans. Earth citizens exploring the galaxy they had been denied for so long. Do you think they will ever truly trust us? James asked. No, Buttar replied honestly. But trust is not necessary for partnership. Respect is, and whether they like it or not, humanity earned that. By threatening them. By saving them first, Buttar corrected. The threat only came after. And honestly, I think it needed to come. The Council had grown comfortable. We convinced ourselves we were the peak of civilization. Humanity showed us we were wrong. Below them, human children played in a park with alien children. Scientists from Earth worked alongside Council researchers. Human ships departed for exploration missions in sectors previously forbidden. It is not the peace anyone imagined, Buttar said. It is built on mutual deterrence and careful balance. But it is peace. For now, James replied, but there will be other threats, other challenges. The swarm was not the first existential danger the galaxy faced, and it will not be the last. True, Buttar agreed. But next time humanity will face it alongside us. As equals, as partners. And that makes all the difference. James smiled slightly. The galaxy asked for soldiers. We sent Reapers. And in doing so, we forced the galaxy to accept us, not as monsters to be feared, but as people to be respected. A dangerous gamble, Buttar observed. The only gamble we had, James corrected. We could have stayed locked away, waiting for the galaxy to need us again. Or we could force our way in and make them accept us. Right or wrong, we chose action over patience. Buttar's claws tapped thoughtfully against the railing. You know, there is an old saying among my people. The most dangerous predator is not the one with the sharpest claws. It is the one smart enough to make you think it is on your side. James looked at him. Are you saying humanity manipulated the Council? I am saying humanity understood the situation better than anyone else, Buttar replied. You knew the Council would call you eventually. You prepared for that moment, and when it came, you had already won before the first battle was fought. He turned to face James directly. The real question is what humanity does now. Will you be the partner you claim to want to be? Or will you slowly tighten your grip until the Council has no choice but to follow Earth's lead? James was quiet for a long moment. I cannot speak for what Earth will do in 50 years or 100, but I can speak for now. Right now, Earth wants to be part of something bigger than itself. We spent 3 centuries alone, and it made us strong but also lonely. We want to belong, even if belonging means compromise. Bouchard asked. Especially then, James replied. The hardest thing for humanity to learn has always been how to share power. How to work with others as equals rather than competitors. If we can learn that, then this partnership will work. If we cannot, ... double quotes, he trailed off, looking at the city below. Then the galaxy will learn the hard way that the monsters they feared were never the swarm, Bucktar finished quietly. It was always humanity. And the only thing keeping those monsters in check is humanity's own choice to be something better. James nodded. Which is why I will spend every day of my life making sure we make that choice. Over and over again. Because the moment we stop choosing to be better is the moment we become exactly what the galaxy feared we were. They stood together in silence, watching the sunset over an alien city that was now partly home to humanity. The Reapers had won the war. But the real battle, the battle to prove humanity could be trusted with the power it had claimed, was only just beginning. And somewhere in the depths of space, Project Harvest waited in silence, a reminder of what humanity was capable of, a deterrent against those who would threaten Earth, and a test of whether humanity could possess ultimate power without using it. Only time would tell if the galaxy's newest members would pass that test. But for now, at least, there was peace, and sometimes that was enough.